You have something special. You have greatness within you. Today I want us to talk about choices. Let's get started. Life is not merely a matter of, holding and playing a good hand as you would hope to do at a card game. What you start up with isn't up to you. Talent is God-given. Life is a great job of playing the great hand you've been dealt. That is determined by your choices. Could things be the way they are because you are the way you are? What one thing or two things that can you change that could, alter the trajectory of your destiny? If you will ever one day travel the world in a fantastic luxury, or send your children to the greatest university, or live in a home of your dream, or fly your own private jet, or drive the car of your choice, well, that boils down to choices. The choices that you think will not make sense, they do. I have a question for you. Have you ever been bitten by an elephant? Of course not, right? But how about mosquito? I'm certain you've ever been bitten by one. Bill Gates says this is the most dangerous animal on the planet, and it is also one of the smallest. You see, nature provides clues. It is the little things that will bite you and kill you. So it is true about your choices. And as you embark on the journey of, good choices, let discipline be your guide. Let discipline be your beacon. Let discipline show you the way. When you get off course, let discipline bring you back on track. Let discipline serve as a guiding factor. When we make a choice, we are given the freedom to explore alternatives and to choose what will make us happy. Nothing has been predetermined for us. Choices connect us to our most desirable intentions, values, and beliefs. When we have good choices dialed in and the basics of life are handled and done, our minds are free to focus on new challenges and the next set of problems. L. Tom Perry observed, "The choices you make will make all of the difference you want to achieve." Remember, every day is an opportunity to become better through good choices. It is a new chapter in the story of our lives. Every choice we make, every action we take, it is the stroke of the brush on the canvas of the journey towards becoming better. Edwin Markham observed, "Choices are the hinges of destiny." Your day-to-day life is made up of choices, while your future is constructed by the consequences of these choices. Nelson Mandela remarked, "May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears." Do not neglect the smallest disciplines and choices. Do not disregard them as little itty-bitty, actions. Do not regard them as being trifling. M. Michelle Waldrop remarked, "Everything affects everything else. You have to understand the whole web of connections. How true? Choices are a double-edged sword. Bad choices can cut you down just as easily as good choices can build you up, which is why understanding the consequences of your choices is very crucial. You have to know how choices can work against you and how they can work in your favor, and design them to your advantage rather than to your detriment, so you can avoid the dangerous half of the blade. Life is accumulative. Our choices will either accumulate into what we want or what we don't want. Choices are like the atoms of our lives. Each one of them is a fundamental unit that contributes to our overall improvement. At first, these little itty-bitty choices and actions seem insignificant, but soon they build on each other and fuel bigger wins that multiplies to a degree that far much outweighs the cost of their initial investment. Choices are both bigger and small. Success is the accumulative compound effect of good choices made every day. Choices shape habits, and habits shape choices. It's a two-way street. Habits is what reinforces decision making and makes it easier to do the right thing. Your brain has the capacity to recognize patterns. When you make a conscious choice to similar intrusion, you develop an automatic habit to how to respond to that kind of a situation in the future. Making better choices leads to better options and fewer repercussions. Making better choices leads to freedom and new opportunities. Conversely, bad choices can hamper you, can limit you, can hold you down. There is a story that I'm gonna be using as a reference point. Perhaps you may obtain a graphic conceptualization of the idea of good choices that I'm trying to put across to you. This story is a true testament, reflection of the magic of good choices. And as the story goes, the fate of British cycling changed one day in 2003. The organization, which was the governing body for professional cycling in Great Britain, had recently hired Dave Brailsford as its new performance director. At the time, professional cycling in Great Britain had endured nearly 100 years of mediocrity. Since 1908, British riders had won just a single gold medal at the Olympic Games, and they had fared even worse in cycling's biggest race, the Tour de France. In 110 years, no British cyclist had ever won the event. In fact, the performance of British riders had been so underwhelming that one of the top bike manufacturers in Europe refused to sell bikes to the team because they were afraid that it would hurt sales if other professionals saw the Brits using their gear. Brailsford had been hired to put British cyclists on a new trajectory. What made him different from previous coaches was his relentless commitment to a strategy that he referred to as the aggregation of marginal gains, which was the philosophy of searching for a tiny margin of improvement in everything you do. Brailsford said the whole principle came from the idea that if you broke down everything that you could think of that goes into riding a bike and then improve it by 1%, you will get a significant increase when you put them all together. Brailsford and his coaches began by making small adjustments that you might expect from a professional cycling team. They redesigned the bike seats to make them more comfortable and rubbed alcohol on the tires for a better grip. They asked riders to wear electrically heated overshorts to maintain ideal muscle temperature while riding, and used biofeedback sensors to monitor how each athlete responded to a particular workout. The team tested with various fabrics in a wind tunnel and had their outdoor racing suits switch into indoor racing suits, which proved to be lighter and more aerodynamic. But they didn't stop there. Brailsford and his team continued to find 1% improvement in overlooked and unexpected areas. They tested with different types of massage gels to see which one led to the fastest muscle recovery. They hired a surgeon to teach each rider the best way to wash their hands to reduce the chances of catching a cold. They determined the type of pillow and mattress that led to the best night sleeps for each rider. They painted the inside of the team truck white, which helped them spot little bits of dust that would normally slip by unnoticed but could degrade the performance of the finely tuned bikes. As this and hundreds of other small improvements and choices accumulated, the results came faster than anyone could have imagined. Just 5 years after Brailsford took over, the British team dominated the road and track cycling events at the 2008 Olympic Games in Beijing, where they won an astounding 60% of the gold medals available. 4 years later, when the Olympic Games came to London, the Brits raised the bar as they set 9 Olympic records and 7 world records. That same year, Bradley Wiggins became the first British cyclist to win the Tour de France. The next year, his teammate Chris Froome won the race, and he would go on again to win in 2015, 2016 and 2017, giving British team 5 Tour de France victories in just 6 years. During the 10-year span from 2007 to 2017, British cycling team won 178 world championships and 66 Olympic or Paralympic gold medals, and captured 5 Tour de France victories in what is widely regarded as the most successful run in cycling history. Now, how does this happen? How does a team of previously ordinary athletes transform into world champions with small improvements that at first glance would seem to make a modest difference at best? And how can you replicate this approach into your own life? You have something special. You have greatness within you. It is possible. Good choices, good actions, good decisions plus discipline equals to success. That combination is hard to beat. Despite their efficiency, some people are still wondering about the benefits of good choices. Well, the argument goes like this. Will good choices make my life dull? Well, I don't want to pigeonhole myself into a lifestyle I don't enjoy. Doesn't so much routine take away the vibrancy and the spontaneity of life? These questions set up a false dichotomy. They make you think you want to choose between, building, choices and attaining freedom. The people who don't have their habits, and choices handled are often the ones with the least amount of freedom. Without good choices, you'll always struggle. Choices works magic. Galatians chapter 6 verses 7. The Bible says in the Message Bible paraphrase, I love it very much. Do not be misled. No one make a fool of God. What a person plants, he will reap. The moment you persist in these good choices, day in and day out, and here is the greatest paradox for you to understand. What is easy to do, it is also not easy to do. You have to understand that. But who knows? One day when the cup of good choices is full to the brim, it will tip off the scale in your favor, and the whole world will go like, wow, an overnight success. Once the scale has been tipped, bam, people around you will be like, look at him, how chance aids him at every time. The outside world only see the most dramatic event, but they are oblivious to the fact of all that had gone before it. Another important factor here that you will really have to consider as you embark on this journey of good choices, it is not going to be easy. You have to be disciplined. Leadership guru John C. Maxwell observed, life is a matter of choices, and the choices you make makes you. How true. What a punch in the gut. Making a good choice every day counts a lot for a long time. The most powerful outcomes of these good choices are often delayed until some time in the future. Be patient. Embrace disciplines that goes along with this journey of good choices. Do not let yourself off the hook of good choices. Do you want to achieve something, important or a noteworthy success in your life? Then stick with these choices. Stick with good choices on your daily basis. Discipline. Major step to human progress. Discipline. We might add one more word here. Consistent self-discipline. Discipline will carry you through the impossible things. Discipline will help you when you get off course. Discipline will bring you back on track, because it's not going to be easy. This is what you have to understand. It takes a consistent discipline to manage our valuable time, or we will be consistently frustrated. Our time will be eaten up by others whose demands are stronger than our own. It takes discipline to listen to our own voices. We are living in a world that is relentlessly demanding and incessantly loud. Taking the time to listen to your own voice is not just a luxury, it is a necessity. It takes discipline to plan. It takes discipline to execute our plans. It takes discipline to make good choices. Discipline is key. It takes discipline to change a habit, because habits are formed a little bit every day, each day. And once habits are formed, they act like a giant cable. They act like a nearly unbreakable instinct that can only be changed by consistent self-discipline activity. We must unweave this giant cable of poor choices and habits that has hold us in bondage of sicknesses and diseases. and regrets. We must unweave this cable slowly and methodically until the giant cable that once held us in bondage become nothing more than scattered strands of wire. Discipline is key. Now, if discipline is the key word and the key action, what is exactly discipline? Well, one good answer here may be that discipline is the constant human awareness need for action and the conscious act by us to implement that particular action. Discipline is the power to say no when yes is convenient. Discipline is not easy, but the power and the magic of discipline, it is very, very, very much powerful in our lives. Destiny is not a matter of chance. Destiny is a matter of choice. It is not something to be waited for. It is something to be achieved. William Jennings Bryan. Choices are with you. You have to make good choices. It wasn't poor choices of winning the Tour de France that propelled the British cyclist team to the top of the sport. Presumably they had wanted to win the race before, like any other team. But it is only when they implemented a system of, good choices and improvements that they achieved a different outcome. If we don't make discipline part and parcel of our lives, the results we seek on our daily basis, it will be sporadic and elusive. In our quest of life, we need discipline. Discipline is key. I'm going to be using a plain metaphor to drive the idea of gyroscope home. Well, planes have gyroscopes to keep them on track. So, no matter what happens, whether traffic, turbulent, a plane has the gyroscope that keeps locking it on its intended, track or destiny. As human beings, we also need gyroscopes in our lives, and these are the best gyroscopes I can recommend for you. Gyroscope number 1 is God. Gyroscope number 2 is discipline. Gyroscope number 3 is a mentor. You need a cheerleader to hold your hand. You need someone who is doing better than you, someone who can just, look you straight in the eyes and tell you, stop it. You need the voice of God. Isaiah chapter 13 verses 21, the Bible says that you will hear only one voice speaking to you. This is the way in which you should walk in. So if planes have gyroscope to keep them on track, we human beings, we are not an exception. Cars have GPS systems, to keep them on track. Ships have sextant, that serves as gyroscopes to keep them on track. A plane leaving Jomo Kenyatta International Airport for LaGuardia Airport, New York, it will hit the exact runway on the other side of the continent because it has a gyroscope. As a human being, you need a gyroscope to keep you on track. Most of the time, you'll go off track. You will go off course. You need a gyroscope to bring you back in focus. It's very important. We need a gyroscope. Every day, we are walking through a minefield of solicitations on our immediate gratification. We need discipline to say no when yes is convenient. You need discipline to make good choices, because we cannot afford to run away from choices. We have to make them at the end of the day anyway. We need choices. You need discipline to choose in between, a glass of water and, and chicken, because we are presented with many choices during the day. What do you get if you choose a glass of water? Nothing. You get nothing. But what about chicken? You get like this, oral sensation of epic, proportion. So when you make a poor choice, you get rewarded. But when you make a good choice, you get nothing. And that is very hard for our emotional and psychological selves to take. But you have to make good choices anyway. The results of good choices are not immediate, but they are often delayed until some time in future. So only after, a few years, you'll be looking back at those good choices that you have made in the past and celebrate because of the choices that you made in the past. So discipline is going to serve as a major key. And you'll also face challenges, because every day there are some people who will come into your life. There are people who will influence you negatively. So you need discipline of the highest caliber to filter between, good people and bad people. People who end up regretting, it's just that, they made poor choices. Now, a plane that is on the tarmac, if that plane is only 1 degree off and flies across the country, that plane will not hit the exact tarmac on the other side of the planet, because it is 1 degree off. It will end up miles away from its intended target. Same applies to our lives. When we make poor choices, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, we will end up where we did not expect. And it is because of just that one poor choice. And one poor choice in 15 years time, it is equals to regrets. So these are the gyroscopes you can use as a guiding factor in your life as you navigate through the vicissitudes of life. It is not going to be easy, but you just need discipline anyway. When you get off track, please get back on track through the power of discipline. Do not let yourself off the hook of discipline, because with the discipline, everything is possible. With the discipline, miracles happens. With the discipline, life becomes easy. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and please do not forget to like, share, and hit on that subscribe button so you do not miss a single video. God bless you. Thanks a lot for watching this video. I wish you all the best as you embark upon the journey of, good choices. May God help you. May God go before you. And may the good God enable you. Thank you. See you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.